Hey guys, First Regardsman here, and today I'll be talking about the best team comp for Space Marine 2 Siege Mode in patch 8.0. Now, a lot of players are very curious which classes are the best, which ones have the best synergy, we'll let them push the highest waves possible. A lot of people think Vanguard is very strong right now, but I just want to be very clear, the classes we were talking about today, or the team comp, is about a coordinated team, not playing with randoms. You're not trying to carry people, it's assuming everybody knows what they're doing, and you're private matching, you're just trying to push waves. So the best classes for the purposes of wave pushing are Tactical, Bulwark, and Heavy, and it's really not close. And you may be wondering, why is Vanguard not here? Vanguard is amazing, Zone Impact. This thing is super powerful. I want to be very clear that the Vanguard is strong. He's a strong pick. Unmatched Zeal is a great team perk. This will save you on requisition points, and saving on requisition points is very important in Siege mode, especially if you're trying to push the higher waves. Unfortunately, Vanguard simply lacks damage compared to the Bulwark, and his ammo economy is terrible compared to the Bulwark, mainly because Vanguard, unlike Bulwark, has 0 ammo restoration perks like Auxiliary Reload, and he's pretty much stuck just using stuff like magazine restoration in his perk tree for ammo recovery, and this will eat into your requisition points, on top of the fact this guy simply does not pump out damage like the Bulwark can, because the Bulwark has the Power Fist, and the Power Fist is the best melee weapon in Space Marine 2, and the Artificer block Power Fist does a truly staggering amount of damage to bosses, on top of the fact that the Bulwark simply brings more to a team than the Vanguard does. Even though the Vanguard has a very strong team perk, all of his horde clear pretty much comes from Zone of Impact, and this perk is very buggy with tactical prowess at times, and really one team perk is simply not enough to put him in S tier. He lacks damage, and that's really the issue when he brings less to the team. A Bulwark brings armor restoration, he is more survivable, he is able to bring healing anyways, and in a coordinated team, Invigorating Icon is better than Unmasked Zeal can be, or I should say it's at least as effective, on top of the fact he can also do things like Rejuvenating Effect, which is when the banner is activated, it revives incapacitated squad members in its area of effect. This perk is invaluable for wave pushing, because the truth of Siege mode as it currently stands is that post wave 15, you are on a DPS race. There is a hidden timer post wave 15, every wave you complete will push the timer forward, there's like 10 minutes left, and then you'll actually see the timer, and you will inevitably get timed out. So to push the highest waves possible, you need the most damaging combinations that are able to do their damage for the longest, and perks like this will allow you to get your teammates up if they're downed. If your tactical or heavy go down, this guy is almost always the last to die, so putting down your banner and getting your heavy back up to do his damage instead of waiting for his timer for him to respawn or something is just too important, which is why the Bulwark is just so damn powerful, on top of the fact that his Power Fist does numbers. And his new team perk here, Focus Restoration, is the best team perk he has now. It is no longer Advanced Conditioning. This perk comes out to around 90 armor boost for each team member over the course of like a 3-hour game. It is incredible. Drip-fed armor in this game, it cycles into perks like Conviction incredibly well, and it's just a goated perk. It really is S tier. It's hard to like properly express the impact that this perk has over like the course of a game, but it is truly an S tier perk. It is amazing, and it will save you more HP than this will, and whatever HP you don't get back, you can just get back with Invigorating Icon that you cycle back into. So incredible perk, pretty much always take this. Now, as far as the tactical goes, a tactical is kind of a no-brainer. People pretty much view this class as OP anyways, but even if you were just like the most Auspex Andy tactical secure stockpile bot ever, that's still more than enough, because having a 60-second Melta Bomb cooldown on this team perk that did get reworked in patch 8.0, which is equipment charge restored by 1 for all squad members, cooldown is 60 seconds. This one will let you cycle into Melta Bombs over and over and over. It stacks with other equipment recharge like the Heavy's Consecutive Execution, and really Melta Bombs are the name of the game in Space Marine 2 Siege mode, and this one comes out to like over 500 Melta Bombs for your whole team over the course of a 3-hour match, which is absolutely insane. And this pushes your clear rates into the moon, on top of Auspex with Concentrated Fire, that like you basically become like this super enabler for the heavy class that is able to dump out his damage with multi-melta and plasma to like absurd levels. Incredible synergy here, and secure stockpile really is just like an SSS tier perk. I think this might actually just be the best team perk in the game currently, as like encompassing Aegis, which we'll get into shortly, on top of your Auspex and Radiant Impact having just a great horde clear. The only thing tactical struggles with is like survivability, and the reason for that is just that he has lower HP. He doesn't have perks like Conviction that the heavy has, which is the, where is it here? Here, when your armor's fully depleted, you take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds. A perk like this on Tactical would be amazing, but unfortunately Tactical has no damage reduction. So the only damage reduction we are able to grant the Tactical on our team is with our team perk here, Encompassing Aegis. All squad members take 25% less range damage from range attacks, or excuse me, take less damage from range attacks. It is an invaluable perk because this is just damage reduction for a class that normally has none, on top of the focus restoration from the Bulwark, which will give him back his armor, because the Tactical also struggles with any form of armor regen, and overall Tactical just benefits a lot from this team synergy. And also the Heavy's Encompassing Aegis perk here will stack with the Bulwark's Scramble Targeting perk to give him like a base 50% range damage reduction when he's in a horde, and you're pretty much always in a horde, so it's just an amazing synergy here on top of like the Heavy and Bulwark already. These guys are like the best duo, but Tactical is just like the best third, because, you know, I don't think anyone's going to argue that like Auspex scan is incredible in this game, and this guy has access to some pretty incredible weapons. I just want to talk about the weapons here for a second before I go into like a little bit more of an in-depth on these builds. So I'm just trying to give you guys like a general overview of why these guys work so well together. So first up, we have Plasma Incinerator. Now, I would mainly use this versus Chaos, and maybe you could use it versus Tyranids. I still think the Stalker Bolt Rifle here is better versus Tyranids. I would just set it up this way to go into recoupment, because armor recovery is very important. But the reason the Stalker Bolt Rifle is so good versus Tyranids is that it is able to practically annihilate any Neurothrope that ever shows up, or Zoanthrope. It also does tremendous headshot damage to like 99% of the enemies in the game. It is also able to benefit from like basically full damage without even having to take perks for it, so you can still build into a Plasma boost, which is when plasma weapons are 30% overheated, their damage increases by 40%, their charge shots use 1 less energy. This will still work with your secondary, so let's say if you're swapping your loadouts, because unfortunately this game does not have a proper perk loadout swap when you swap loadouts in like the station. So you go like from Tyranids to Chaos, you swap over to Plasma for Chaos, you're still gonna get the benefit of this perk here, despite having a Stalker Bolt Rifle for Tyranids. That's really good. And Plasma Pistols are also just very good in this game already. I do take the magazine capacity variant on this guy because he does struggle with like ammunition at times for his secondary, but the point is, you get Plasma Boost on top of your Plasma Pistol. You can shoot Biovores while you're fighting Tyranids on top of your Stalker Bolt Rifle to help annihilate bosses, because killing Neurothropes is like the one thing that Bulwark and Heavy can sometimes struggle with. Less so Bulwark, because Power Fist is OP, but Heavy definitely came with a multi-melta, and I do think multi-melta is currently the best option for Tyranids. But as far as the Tactical goes, Plasma is very powerful as an option. This is a great boss killer, and we always take the Blockchain Sword because the Blockchain Sword gives him armor regen. It's just the overall best. The Artificer version being the best version of all the Blockchain Swords as well, because its speed is very high. The strength doesn't really matter that much because you're pretty much going to be attacking so often, on top of the fact that Swift Recovery is some great contested health recovery on this class, even though it's not as good as it would be on like Vanguard, but still very strong. Now, I will say, if you don't want to take the Plasma, you could take Bolt Carbine for the Chaos missions, because this is overall better for your contested health recovery than the Plasma is. And like the issue with Plasma, just like on the contested health recovery side of things, is that Plasma can get locked. And what I mean by getting locked is that when you fight a melee Terminator, these Scarab called Power Sword guys, they have a very nasty frame trap that they'll just lock you down. Like, you can't properly get away from them at times, and if they happen to hit you first and then go into their second attack, this gun can no longer charge fast enough to properly get a charge shot off into them, get your CHP back. So that's the time when a Bolt Carbine is better, because it is instantaneous. However, I still think Plasma is very good, especially in a team comp, because you'll be around your teammates a lot more. If I was playing solo, I would always take Bolt Carbine, but in a team comp, you can definitely take this. And I would always take the Rate of Fire variant, because Rate of Fire is just too important on the Plasma, because getting your charge shots off is how you survive. That's the main reason for that. As far as the Bolt Carbine goes, I would either build it this way or like build it up into here for the Gunstrike reload. Either options are very good. And as far as the Stalker Bolt Rifle goes, I would just take the magazine capacity variant, because having more magazine capacity means you can shoot for longer. And some people like Rate of Fire, but overall, I just find this one to be more beneficial. It also helps out with your Emperor's Vengeance perk here, which is killing a Majora's level or higher enemy, restores your primary weapons ammo by 1 magazine. Cannot exceed maximum ammo capacity, cooldown is 30 seconds. This one is just really, really good for saving requisition points as well, which is why we take it pretty much all the time on Siege mode. Because like I said before, any class that has a bad ammo economy in Space Marine 2 Siege mode, which is really just two, guess what? The two classes that struggle are Vanguard and Assault. Go figure, Assault especially, because he has like literally 0 ammo recovery options. At least the Vanguard has like this perk here that I mentioned previously, but overall these guys will just eat into your requisitions, where Tactical will not. So that's pretty much the build setup for tactical. And we just go down here. And vital data, as always, you just take as much Auspex damage as you can with as much recovery on top of the battle focus. And I should mention that battle focus is really good with block weapons because a lot of the fencing weapons just don't like to properly apply battle focus currently, and chainsword will. And for those of you who are still unaware what battle focus does, it just means on a perfect parry or block, you give an Auspex scan on a marked enemy. So it's very, very, very good at clearing out the bosses, because bosses are what's going to eat up your time the most, and this guy is a great enabler for the heavy and Bulwark to annihilate them. Now, as far as the Bulwark goes, I did mention his build a little bit, but Power Fist is just the best melee weapon in Space Marine 2. This is what puts him above pretty much every other melee class in this game. It's because he has an incredible animation cancel to survive with this thing and do tremendous damage. As a support class, Bulwark does a truly staggering amount of damage. He's very powerful for that, and we just build pure damage reduction. You could take Intimidating Aura. We might try this at some point, but for now, damage reduction on the Bulwark is very important because him staying alive is like the most important thing ever, because he is your res banner, and res banner is how you keep doing DPS to push the highest wave, which is why we do this. And as far as your prestige perks go, we just go auxiliary reload into overcharge, into powerful shot, into masterful defense, because it's just an enabler, especially versus chaos, to get invigorating icon back more quickly. Now, as far as the tactical prestige perks go, before I forget, Acuity, because this has a very good synergy with Bolt Carbine and the Stalker Bolt Rifle, and most of your prestige perks suck. And then we go into Skilled Supplier, just, more ammo efficiency. And then we go into Resilience, just makes your Medicae stims worth more, which means you're going to save on even more requisition points if you happen to use a Medicae. And then Fortitude, because health increases are just too damn important to not die in this game, especially in the later waves where you get nuked down all the time. And he's going to be struggling with that the most. Now, as far as the heavy goes, I have gone back and forth on the heavy so many times. I'm like, which one I think is better? The Heavy Plasma Incinerator or the Multi-Melta. I think I am now currently leaning towards the Multi-Melta being better. I think the Multi-Melta is definitely better versus Tyranids. I'm still kind of up in the air on Chaos. I might try the Heavy Plasma more in a trio versus them, because the Heavy Plasma does do better boss damage. It is significantly better for nuking bosses at range. Just has a better splash AoE damage radius for them, especially. It also puts you at less risk, especially versus triple Hell Brutes. That being said, Multi-Melta just has way better clear. It's even more ammo efficient, and the magazine capacity version of this weapon, when built with the fire rate perk here, Executioner's Fire, after you finish your fire rate increases by 25% for 5 seconds, is more than enough. And it's very, very ammo efficient with our auxiliary reload perk here, which just gives us back a ton of ammunition, especially on the Multi-Melta, to the point that you don't even need multi-kill. That's how ammo efficient you are on this class. But that's why I like the Multi-Melta. I took this to 32 hard siege in a duo. I'll probably try Heavy Plasma for the trio, but overall, I do think Multi-Melta probably edges out Heavy Plasma overall, even if Heavy Plasma has better boss damage, maybe even against Chaos, because Multi-Melta will also shoot through Sorcerer shields instantaneously and remove them, and Sorcerers become some of the greatest, the most problematic enemies in the siege mode, mainly because they just eat into your timer, because they just res guys, and when a time you're spending killing rezzed up Rubric Marines is just time you're not able to clear the wave and push the timer. And pushing the timer is what this is all about. So as far as the perk tree goes, I do want to mention here, Trick Shot, killing 5 enemies with 1 shot, restores 1 armor segment, cooldown is 30 seconds. This perk is the most undervalued perk in this game for the Melta weapons. It is so good. Anything with an armor restore in this game, perks like this, perks like recoupment are just so valuable, because people don't realize that drip fed armor is just what keeps you from dying. If you get whacked up, the things that kill you in Space Marine 2 is Nova damage from a boss. So they'll stagger you, they'll hit you with a big attack, you'll get all your contested HP, you'll have no armor, and then you'll get shot to shit and die. So this will make it so when you get hit by a melee attack, you'll get staggered, but the incoming shots from a soul cannon or something like that are not going to instantaneously kill you as often. That is invaluable. That is why restoration is so much better than having an advanced conditioning, or focus restoration is so much better than advanced conditioning right now, because advanced conditioning is really good, but this one just keeps you alive and keeps you from even taking damage in the first place so much, because having an extra 300 armor boost for your whole team is pretty damn amazing in the siege mode, and that's why that lets you cycle into your invigorating icons. Let's say you don't get HP back that you would have otherwise been able to with advanced conditioning, you go back into invigorating icon because you guys are all coordinated and you just get your HP back, which is why this is so valuable. And this is what Zambit and I both used, and we both agree his perk is just incredible, absolutely S tier. But But as far as the heavy perks go, we do take Restoration here because Restoration is, again, more armor regen because armor regen is amazing. And honestly, guys, it is better drip fed. And the reason that armor is better drip fed is that there are a lot of enemies in this game that have a damage cap versus armor. And the damage cap can be like 2 bars from like a lictor hit. So if you're only getting 1 armor back, they'll still only take off 1 bar because all melee damage, even from bosses, is reduced to 0 regardless of the amount of armor you have remaining. So you're not wasting armor on a drip feed because as long as you get like 1 back, it gets smacked by a lictor. It's like, okay, I lost 1 armor, and then you trigger your focus restoration triggers, and then your restoration triggers, and you get 2 back, you get chipped down again, you take 1 more hit, your armor's gone, and then like your trick shot triggers on your melta makes you incredibly tanky. Makes like it really comes out to a tremendous amount of armor, and armor just is that valuable. I know a lot of people don't think it is, but like the more you play around with it, the more you learn the game, it really does just become invaluable for pushing and just surviving, being able to get off your damage. It is that strong. Thing here, fortitude just makes you like the second tankiest class in this whole game. Always take this, and this is just more damage with overwhelming power, significantly better than all the other options here. Encompassing Aegis, already mentioned this perk quite a few times. I mentioned it again. Flat out damage reduction. This grants like the only damage reduction that the tactical here is ever going to get, pretty much. So that's why we pretty much always take this. And then next perk here, consecutive execution. This does stack with the secure stockpile. Now the next perk here, I do want to mention field adjustment. Iron Halo recharges 20% faster, but its durability is reduced by 25%. I didn't like this perk as much. I always thought it was strong. I will say that. I always thought it was strong. I was taking Obdurate Bastion for a while in the Siege mode. I have now moved to taking this perk again because I think getting your Iron Halo back is just too damn important, because Iron Halo is simply what lets you shoot back at a lot of the enemies, especially versus Chaos. And even though having an increased durability really helps you shoot more versus like Hell Brutes, it's a little too niche, and this one is just better overall, in my opinion. And then Brute Force here, when Iron Halo is in cooldown, range damage increases by 15%. I mean, a 15% range damage increase on like the gun class is just incredible. And then same thing here with offensive capability. When active, Iron Halo deals damage over time to all enemies within 5 meters. This is super valuable. This one lets you walk through cultists, walk through spore mines. Some people like this. This perk is not good. It's not bad, I should say. This is a very good perk. It's just that this one's overall better and has like an immediate effect. It will also tick down guys that like sit in your shield, and there are so many enemies in Siege mode that like ticking them on your shield for damage over time will often put them to execute, even on like the extremists, because they have a little bit of extra damage. Really, really good perk. Great pick here. And then as far as our perk tree goes, we go Auxiliary Reload into Conviction, which is an S tier perk, and then into Duelist, and then into Indomitable Spirit. Now, as far as other options for a team comp could go, I would say that like if you really don't want to take Tactical, if you're like desperate for a Vanguard, I would just take Inner Fire Vanguard, because Inner Fire Vanguard with a Bulwark with the invigorating icon is like, it should be more than enough healing for a team that knows what they're doing. And like if you're properly trying to push waves, I assume you know what you're doing to some extent, and you're probably able to heal off your Bulwark pretty easily and be pretty coordinated, because otherwise you'll just be playing with randoms, in my opinion. Or I assume most people are playing with randoms. So this perk is good for randoms because it just gives them more healing, because it just helps them because this one's more forgiving for like lower waves. But overall, in a coordinated team, Bulwark simply pushes the highest waves along with Tactical and Heavy. That's really all I wanted to talk about today. So I'll just show the perk trees here real quick for these weapons, just so you guys have an idea, in case anybody, I know we're a little scatterbrained here, but I know we didn't cover some of these. But the point is, that's the best team comp for Space Marine 2's Siege mode currently, and it's really not that close. These guys are just super strong. You could swap out like Tactical for Sniper if you really wanted to, because he is really good at buying requisition and getting people up as well. And he does have really good options with things like the Stalker Bolt Rifle, just like the Tactical does. But overall, Tactical just has Auspex and Secure Stockpile. And 500 extra Melta Bombs, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, if you ask me. Melta Bombs are pretty strong. That boosts up your clear time. That's a ton of damage. That's just how it be. And Siege mode does take like 3 hours to complete on like a super hardcore run. And that's just the way it be in this game, because they decided to make the game take forever. But that's all I have to say in this video. I know we got a little rambly, but hopefully I was at least somewhat concise here. And if you like content like this, subscribe for more. And as always, take it easy. Peace.